On the 29th of last month, there was a high panel discussion on climate change, and I had the honor of leading the Vatican delegation to that high panel discussion, and still felt very honored when events in the UN, one has the possibility of intervening right in the opening session when the hall is full, or subsequently when people walk out and all of that. And this time, I suppose, out of great respect for the Holy Father and the Holy See, and especially in view of the fact that its encyclical has just been published, we had a chance to intervene when the session, the full session, and so part of the opening ceremonies. And the session was great because, especially since the Secretary General of the United Nations had wanted, actually did, make a comment right after the publication of the encyclical in support of the message of the encyclical and in support of the encyclical's own, if you want, moral support to all the talk about climate change and the need to be committed to some kind of change and to change shift. And then, over and above the Secretary General's own recognition in his speech of the role of the encyclical, the publication of it, and gratitude to the Holy Father, one after the other, the heads of state and representatives who intervened kept making reference to the encyclical, as the Holy Father has said, So it's something that has resonated very widely, and it's something that apparently, in the short period of time between the publication and this event in the UN, people apparently had read it and knew what the encyclical was saying, and found in it a strong moral support for the UN's own attempt to lobby, to encourage leaders and all of that to commit to support the demands and the requirements of the climate change for a change in lifestyle. I mean, this basically, the concept of integral ecology, which is what the Pope wanted to develop from day one. I recall, as you asked this question, when the Pope first asked our office to work on a draft, the two words he used was that he wanted to do something on natural ecology and human ecology. Later on, the two get put together as integral ecology, but that was the concern. And so I find myself invariably also at the United Nations to correct people by saying that the Pope has not developed an encyclical on climate change, which is what most people said there, but the Pope had developed an encyclical on, if you want, integral ecology. And to the extent that climate change becomes one of the factors responsible for mitigated environmental conditions and all of that, we talk about climate change. But the real thing that the Pope wanted to do is to invite us to just show respect and love for the two things that God has created, and that is the human person, his dignity, and everything that we need to do to ensure his dignity, and then the world, the earth or creation nature, which supports us, which is our home, and which needs to be taken care of. And again, that is the thing. The Pope wants us to take care of the earth so the earth will take care of us. We want to recognize that we do not always speak with people of faith and people who believe or Christians and all of that. But the Pope essentially wrote this as a religious leader. And we cannot take that background away from the Pope. He's coming into this as a religious leader. And so we cannot pretend that he's going to be addressing this fully as somebody who does not believe. The faith point of departure is with him, although he doesn't make that as a precondition for people reading the encyclical. But we need to recognize that this is also a religious leader talking, appealing to other religious leaders, and appealing also to those who do not believe. And that being the case, we need to recognize that for him, God entrusted the world to us as a garden. And it is important that we keep it as a garden and not turn it into a wilderness.